When you see stuff like this, don't be surprised, because for some reason Halloween gives them an excuse to be complete jerks. Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again. So today's video we're going to be talking about Halloween. It was just 2 days ago, and of course we know Halloween involves people dressing up as different people, wearing costumes, having fun. There's a choice of so many different people you could dress up as, so many different costumes. In my own opinion, it allows people to express creativity. But when they take the opportunity of this Halloween, which involves dressing up as whatever you want to dress up in this world, and they use it to propagate some ideologies that can be offensive to a certain group of people, or some stereotypes, or they dress up in a way that is too controversial, that is going to hurt a certain group of people, I think that is where the problem is. So I have two particular contexts in this video, two situations that I'm going to talk about where white people dress up as people of color. The first one was, a group of kids. I'm not even going to call them kids. These are teenagers. Come on, they are teenagers. They definitely know what they were doing. And then this happened in Utah. They dressed up in blackface and they were wearing costumes, like prison costumes, like they were incarcerated. About 3 or 4 of them were wearing this blackface, and the other people were wearing like SWAT costumes, and that was what they decided to look like for Halloween.
You guys understand the consequences of what you've just done?
No.
I'm not able to play the full clip here because YouTube is really sensitive about stuff like this. So just in case you're interested, I'm going to be leaving the link for you guys to go and see the video on TikTok. I'm going to put it in my comment section. You guys can go and check it out. The fact that these people, they very likely had enough time to think about what they wanted to do for Halloween, what costumes they wanted to wear. So they had time to actually plan this out. This is 2022. You cannot tell me that you're ignorant about racism. You cannot tell me that you're ignorant about the implication of putting on blackface in this modern day. To me, there are two problems here. Number one, putting on blackface. Number two, the fact that the people putting on blackface dressed up as inmates. So what are they trying to say? They are actually trying to propagate the stereotype of black people being incarcerated. But the people that are wearing the police and the SWAT costumes did not wear blackface. So white people are on the side of justice. They're on the side of what is right, while black people are criminals. That's the way I interpret it.
First off, to anybody who says that these are kids, they're not kids, they're teenagers. And to anyone who says that they didn't know better, they knew exactly what they were doing. These teenagers knew that this whole act was racist and that they could play the victims afterwards. They knew that they could go out like this, and as soon as anybody just wants to check them, they'll call us the aggressor.
This is a prime example of why every Halloween we need to keep reminding white people not to blackface, not to dress like a culture, not to dress like people that still exist. Not only were they extremely ignorant when they were called out for it, they held no accountability or ownership of it. Based on their reactions and laughing and joking around about dropping out of high school, they don't care. And it's a damn shame too, because the internet is forever. And the really unfortunate part is people like them don't really think about the long-term consequences of actions like this. Because years from now, they could be applying for a university or a job, and all of a sudden this video comes up and be like, that was you, right? It's that simple. And they're all clearly old enough to understand what they're doing is wrong, but again, they just don't care. But actions have consequences, and I'm sure they'll see theirs very soon.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about an embarrassing moment of my life, but the thing is, it happened when I was maybe 8, 9 years old. And this video just kind of triggered me a little bit. So back in the 70s, I went to a day camp, and we had a talent show, and Michael Jackson was really big at that point. And I was like, I want to do, a Michael Jackson song. And I had it in my mind that I was going to go in blackface and sing this song. And I had a counselor who said to me, you can't do that. And I didn't understand why. I grew up in a pretty much white town, right? Very, very few people of color, if any people of color. So it was really foreign to me. And so I had this one counselor who said, all right, let's do this. Let's walk around and ask people of color how they would feel if I did this thing. And I was not going to do that because I knew, even without knowing, I knew how wrong it would have been to do something like that. Now, here we have this video of these fucking idiots who decide that this is okay. Now, my question as a dad, where are the parents? And I'll say, listen, you know, if a kid walks out of the house and they're wearing a costume and it's, you know, it's hiding a little something, that's one thing. But this blatant, outright racist, parents, where are you? Kids, I'm sorry. Things are going to be hard for you now because your names are going to be linked to this forever. The internet is forever.
It's Halloween, right? I mean, the racist costumes, every year we see this. And you would assume at this day and age, at this point in time, people would get it. And some would say, well, these are kids, these are teenagers do dumb things. But no, this is a choice. You had to actively go, okay, I want to wear blackface, I'm going to do this. You have to know at this point in time that that's inappropriate, that the juxtaposition of these prisoners and white cops, and it's just wrong, it's racist, and there's no justification for it.
This type of behavior does not surprise me because people are going to do what racist people do. Even on Halloween, they just get to be racist, but in costume. Every year, we have people that, for some odd reason, they want to do blackface. They want to dress up in Native American costumes, even though the Native American and Indigenous community have told them to please stop it, that their culture is not a costume, and racist people ignore all of this and they continue to go for the racist tropes. If you have to do stuff like this as a Halloween costume, that says more about your character than anything else.
The second instance that I want to talk about is this particular video that I came across where a woman went to a department store. I think this happened in Oregon, and then she saw a white woman wearing a Native American costume.
What's your name? Jess what? Abbas. Yeah. I just wanted to ask you why you think it's appropriate for you to wear that outfit. It's just out of curiosity. Do you know that I find it offensive, my kids find it offensive. We're Native Americans and that's not how we dress. Yeah, maybe I just want to report. Go away. I'm just asking you a question. Please go away. I just want to know why you think it's appropriate. Because I want to. Sorry. And why do you... I didn't do it to offend anybody. But you know that...
Eugenia Camus is an Indigenous woman who lives in Central Oregon who was visiting Pal Butte Rodeo for an event that day when she noticed a white woman dressed in this very inappropriate Native American costume. So when Eugenia had approached this woman, she was fairly quickly dismissed, and then this happened.
It's a Halloween costume. Oh my God. Seriously? You don't really think...
Eugenia was then publicly ganged up on by a group of white women trying to defend their friend, and then these women continued to call Eugenia's employer and got her fired. But these ladies couldn't stop there because they started having conversations on Facebook like this. They talked about finding her address and then living out fantasies from episodes of The Watcher. Now I'll be posting up a second video with all of the footage that Eugenia took that day, but it's so many situations like this where women of color are consistently having to put up with 100% of the consequences, while white people, particularly white women, aren't having to be held accountable at all for their actions. Now, Eugenia is a close friend of mine, and although she says she's fine, she's not worried about her job, I know that she is worried about her 2 young daughters that she has at home.
Culture is not a costume. I think it is sensitive, especially for Native Americans, when the person doing this is white, because of the history between white people and Native Americans. And then the particular video that I saw of a person duetting the whole scenario, somebody replied in the comments and was like, but this is just like dressing up as Pocahontas. We all grew up watching Pocahontas. I personally did. So like, what's the big deal? It's a cartoon character. We just, our favorite cartoon character dressing up as her is not such a big deal, and this and that. And then and the man made a video explaining why even dressing up as, in quote, Pocahontas is not something that should be seen as a fun Disney kind of, oh, I'm a Native American princess, I just want to live out my Disney fantasies. No.
The fact that you don't find a problem with the Pocahontas costume in general is a lot to unpack in itself. I mean, for starters, her real name is Matoaka. Pocahontas is the adaptation or the Americanized version. Not to mention the movie itself was just a watered down, palatable way to teach kids about colonization. If you actually look up the real history behind it, it's not as pleasant. But let's continue on with Matoaka, shall we? She was between the ages of 10 and 14 years old. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I think it's really weird for people to be okay with dressing like a 11-year-old little girl who was by colonizers. But before that, she was actually in various ways that I'm not allowed to say on TikTok. So I mean, yeah, if you think it's totally cool dressing up like a child like that, yeah, you have some problems that you need to work out.
So I didn't used to understand why the whole, dressing up as another tribe or another ethnicity could be offensive. But when I look at history, I understand where the pain comes from. I understand where the sensitivity comes from. So the fact that, Halloween is an opportunity for people to dress up in ways that are offensive, for people to propagate whatever kind of ideologies that they have. To me, I feel like in 2022 we should be past this. We live in a world where everything is sensitive, everything can be misinterpreted, but this is why we also need to educate ourselves, know the history of whatever it is you're trying to do before you do it, because some things are just too sacred to a certain group of people. You don't want to come off offending people when you know that you should know better. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. This is 2022. Let's stand up for what is right. Let's do what is right. You guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.